faculty development and support all within one unit that helps us. And we look at engagement. But in terms of quality, we've been working for a number of years with metrics designed out of the Sloan quality pillars. So we've had that. We've established metrics. We've moved towards that. We take that data that we get after each term and we share it with the faculty and we share it with the program chairs. And then from there we come back and work with the faculty in continuous improvement. So what we've seen across areas, not only with the faculty, but also quality and support services, the systems that surround distance education certainly can make or break a distance education program. So we look at those quality elements too. Those that are not instructor-oriented or faculty-oriented, we develop or assign cross-functional teams to address these issues, to improve that. So we've seen those quality metrics rise in terms of what we have. In terms of the faculty, you know, while we have faculty, we're a major research university, and there's that competition between research and faculty that in that world that we live in. Our faculty are very good and very student-oriented, so they want to learn, and so we don't, you know, we don't challenge them and say, "Hey, you're doing this wrong," because they have their own reasons. We come with them and say, "Here's ways to improve," and they're very receptive to that.
What about at a small institution, where you might you may or may not have the same kind of data that the large research institutions, some of the things that Stacey and Tom have been talking about. What motivates your faculty to improve quality in a distance course or an online course?
I think I'm in a unique position being at a community college, and I actually choose the community college system and prefer it because it is, to me, it feels like it is more about the students. It's not about the research, it's not about the other things, it's about the students. So most of our faculty that are there, it is about the students for them, and it's not really hard to motivate them in that manner for quality. I do think, though, another piece that goes along with incorporating your faculty and into the training and the quality is the institutional level. It's very important if you want to have a quality program and a program that others believe it's quality and your faculty buy into that, the institution has to buy into that and demonstrate that also. That it is a quality program and that it's important to the forward movement of the institution.
And Dana, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I think what I would add too is that I think the emphasis on student outcomes assessment has been absolutely critical to quality improvement in all levels of organizations, whether they're online or whether they are traditional institutions. And when one starts examining student learning data, and faculty see this information, it is revelatory, and that is the motivation when they see, we thought students were supposed to be learning A, they didn't, they learned B. I think that speaks to the best part of our faculty in terms of wanting to really make those kind of changes and improvements.
You're speaking a lot about a lot of commonalities between some very different institutions, and one of the questions that was posed by one of our board members was, is there a difference between the private institution and the public institution in the way you approach the whole area of faculty development for online and quality? And you had a reaction to that question, I remember, in the preliminary discussion we had.
In terms of
the difference between private and public, is there a distinction? We see a lot of commonalities here.
I don't know really if there is a profound difference in terms of how, I mean, I think those terms, private and public, for-profit, not-for-profit, are really more about how the institution's finances are arranged, the degree to which the programs are subsidized by the state or not subsidized. I think the kinds of issues that we face in the institutions represented on this panel are very, very similar. I think there's more similarity than there are differences, quite frankly.
Yeah, and Mel, I would think too that again, there's more similarities. I think when it gets down to it, I mean, you talk about distance learning, we're talking about learning. We're talking about, and we're talking about faculty who have a desire to help individuals learn. And you take away all the different structures and the way things are run and the way they're financed or funded or procedures. You get down to the core, you have individual faculty members who want to give their knowledge and expertise to help others learn. And that's a common across all institutions.
So we're not just talking about distance learning, we're talking about teaching and learning.
Right.
Exactly.
And that's where distance learning and hybrid learning and blended learning and all of that is going. We're almost out of time. And so I need to go around perhaps with our final question. And let me, we haven't gotten to some of the issues. There are many things we could have discussed. But why don't we go around, and if you were to leave our viewers with one or two key points or priorities that you would like to emphasize when it comes to faculty development and quality, you know, what would that be? Alan, what would that be for you?
It's not inevitable. It does require attention. It requires management paying attention to it, making it an institutional priority, because there's a kind of entropy that happens if you just let it sort of coast along. And particularly online education, because in my experience, when an online class goes bad, it goes really, really bad. I mean, it's a real disaster. And so we at UMUC recognize that, and it's a focus for us to work with our faculty to support them. And really, that's how we put it. We want to support our faculty, make them the best that they can be in delivering instruction to students. I teach a class, I'm teaching a class this semester, and you know, it's not a big part of my day-to-day job responsibilities, but when I started teaching it, I just realized how much fun it can be, you know, teaching online classes. Just seeing students interested in learning and just being excited about learning new things, having their horizons expanded. We're not just teaching them, we are changing their lives. And it's such an enjoyment for me to do that. And to support our faculty in doing that.
And Stacey, what would the points be for you?
Well, in the support of faculty, one of the learnings at Capella is that it's really important to have a full system of support rather than just pockets. So instead of just an orientation course, really putting together a system that identifies, is this faculty member a right fit for the institution? How can we support the faculty member to be successful? How do we retain faculty? What are the milestones of success? Collecting data to examine faculty behaviors and how that goes back into the system of support and improvement of quality and learning outcomes. So really, instead of having pockets of responsibilities across the organization, really putting together a system.
Your emphasis is on an integrated system.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And Dana, for you?
I think that it's imperative to set very clear expectations. And I think that comes from the president, the provost, the deans, the faculty directors about, and this again goes back to our beliefs as an institution, that we expect faculty to be present in the course room several times a week, but being very explicit about that. We expect substantive feedback to the students, not just a good job. So I think it's setting clear expectations to the faculty, and then I'd go along with what Stacey just said, and then providing them with the support they need to help achieve those expectations.
Very good. And Christine?
Yes, the faculty support, when we're talking about that, I go back to the institution level and how at the institutional level, what I often say is I have to support my faculty and provide the tools for them to help them succeed. Because if they don't succeed, the students aren't succeeding, and vice versa. If the students aren't succeeding, the faculty aren't succeeding. So it is very important that we have that collaborative, integrated system that Stacey talks about in all of the areas of our institution to make sure everybody's succeeding.
Tom, what would you add?
Just that it's a holistic environment. It's a holistic process, that faculty development is one critical component of successful distance learning, but it can't operate outside of other critical components. but you have to believe in it at the top level, and it has to be stated, it has to be shown through resources that this is important for the university, this is important for student learning. But it's Stacey talked about the system, and it really is. This is an integral cog in a education system that is proving to be very successful in much the system of the future.
Well, this has gone by very quickly, and I want to thank our panelists, Alan, Stacey, Dana, Christine, and Tom. And this has been brought to you by Newton, the National University Telecommunications Network. I'm Mel Muchnik. Thank you for joining us.